Welcome back to another episode of Tuesday Tool Day. I know a lot of times I focus on the more expensive stuff like the Occidental tool bags or, the tool vest or the saws, the pack-out equipment. But this time I'm making this video for those who are balling on a budget. And that really should be all of us because, man, inflation has been crazy for the last 2 years. And so everybody's trying to find quality tools without that expensive price tag. So this time, all these tools are going to be under 20 bucks, but you're not going to miss out on any quality, I think. I think these are still quality tools and you can get it for the cheap. And this last tool I think is a total game changer for me. I think it's a godsend. I haven't seen anybody else talk about this tool. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let me start off by saying, I'm going to address some criticism I get from other guys who I work with sometimes. And they say, why do you bring so many tools to the job? And first and foremost, these are all hand tools. And so the employer, it doesn't have to supply you hand tools. Second of all, why would I want to wait on somebody else to supply me with tools to make me more effective? Like, I don't want to have to borrow some from somebody else, or maybe if the employer doesn't have it, something simple like a chisel or a screwdriver. Now I'm waiting on them to get out of a meeting and then go buy it for me. I would much rather have everything I need on me or in my bucket, so I'm just boom, right off to the races. I want to be able to just get my task and then get right on it. So I'm more effective. I feel, more in control of my own destiny. You know what I mean? So that's why I have a lot more of my own hand tools and a lot more things that I need in my pack out or in my bucket on the job site, depending on how big it is. So now I address that. Let's start with the first tool, that being a Lenox 9-in-1 screwdriver, and for a bonus I also brought a Klein stub nose. Now this is a Lenox right here 9-in-1 screwdriver. Why this is so dope is because as carpenters we want to minimize the amount of tools in our bags but also maximize their effectiveness. So when you have these 9-in-1, when you have these things that you can have multiple purposes, it makes you more effective because you have the weight of just one tool and the space of just one tool, but then it has a 1/4-inch socket on there, it has a 5/16 socket, and it has a 3/8 socket. It also can switch around. It has a number 2, a number 3, and 2 flatheads of variable sizes, a smaller one and a bigger one. And also it has, these are really greasy, so it's kind of hard to deal with. And it has 2 small little bits in here. It has a number 2 and a number 3 square tip. So overall, just it's good to have multiple different functions in your tools, especially if you're doing stuff when it comes to finish work or doors and hardware. You don't want to have sometimes power tools. This is a lot safer, especially for apprentices, and you're not aware of the pressure you need to put on an impact or a drill, and you don't want to spur the screw out. A hand tool is going to be your best friend. Now on to that same subject, a stub nose Klein screwdriver is also amazing because it has the same functionality as this, but instead of everything being connected, it has separate bits that you have on here, and all these are housed at the bottom. So all these are housed at the bottom. Say you don't need a whole bunch of different flatheads or square tips. You can put a couple number 2s in here, a couple number 3s in here, so that if this is your doors and hardware, like a screwdriver, it makes it really, really nice. And not just that, it can extend and also shrink, which I thought is really dope, and it's good for those tight spaces. So this is a 2-for-1 when it comes to screwdrivers. I think the Lenox and the Klein are both worth it. I'm going to put the links in the description for all these so you can see how much these cost in your local area. And the next item is the Hultafors chisel right here. This thing is amazing. I love the fact that it has its own little sheath, so that when you put it in your bags, you have to worry about it getting chipped by their tools or it slicing up your fingers, because you want to keep this thing sharp. And not just that, it's good to have a chisel because when you're on a lift or you are up in the air and you don't want to get down, you see, you have to beat a 2x past a bolt, and you just got to cut a little chunk off there. It's nice to have something where you can just put it there, hit it with the hammer, bang, you know what I'm saying? Or if you are stripping concrete formwork off a ceiling, just get that initial break from the plywood to the concrete. Having a good chisel is amazing, and this thing takes a beating. I can't speak highly enough of the Hultafors brand. If you see it out there, get it. They make quality tools. Now the next item I spoke a little bit in my live stream about, and that is Titan Pry Bars. I think these are amazing. I think these are some of the most versatile tools you can have in your bags. These do so many things. for stripping stuff, being able to give yourself a little bit of leverage, pulling things up, being able to give yourself space so that if you are screwing something or you have a thing where you have to pull something tight but you don't want your hands in the way for like a nail gun or something, these are some of the most versatile tools you could have. And plus, there's two of them, and you have the bigger one and the smaller one, and just in case you don't want to have both in your bags, you get the 2-for-1 special. I think these are some of the most versatile tools you can buy, and also you can use these as a doorstop. I know sometimes when we're moving around in tight spaces, we have a whole bunch of lumber on us. You think, oh man, did anybody cut any wedges? Boom, put this in the door, lock it in. It's not going to damage it. It's smooth. It's nice. So I think these are a must-have for every carpenter. If you can't find it at your local hardware store, I definitely recommend you buy these on Amazon, even though I don't like Amazon as much when it comes to buying tools. If I can buy it locally, I try to most of the time. So again, these are dope. I had a stiletto pry bar and I still do, but I mean, is it nice for titanium? Yeah, but again, when you're talking about like scraping stuff or demoing stuff using pry bars, they take a beating. So I'd much rather have something that I feel comfortable. If I lost one of these, like say in some concrete formwork or on a wall, and I'm like, man, that sucks. But these are only like $12 to $17, and that stiletto pry bar costs so much more. So these are nice to take a beating, and again, they're so cheap. If you need to buy new ones, they're easily accessible. Most of your hardware stores are Amazon, so I cannot recommend these Titan pry bars more. One of the best tools I have in my bags. Now, this next item is going to be controversial because I usually swear by this Milwaukee bit holder. This thing is amazing. I've had this thing for years. I bought maybe 5 or 6 of them over time. I think this thing is dope because again, it's really compact and it can keep all of your bits in here. Keeps 10 of them, but the one gripe I have is that the fact that it's open, and so your bits over time tend to get rusted out. And you might think, well, if they're rusted, what does it matter? Well, sometimes if you're doing like finish work, you don't want to have grime coming off of your hands onto like the paint or whatever area, like anything to minimize making a bigger mess you need to. So sometimes rusted out tools are going to be a problem. So if you can minimize that, it's best you do that, right? And so this is why my new favorite is the DeWalt Bit Holder, and they're almost comparable in prices. I want to say they're almost the same price. Now, this holds 30 bits opposed to this one only holding 10. Now, I like the fact that it's enclosed. It's very, very compact. I know a lot of times people have those other bit holders and they're just like massive. They kind of might take up a whole pocket, but this one can fit in your tool bag and you're barely going to notice it. And then again, you're going to have everything you need as far as number 1s, number 2s, number 3s. It has flatheads, it has square tips, and also it has a whole bunch of different torque bits, and it has 5 T25s. I know a lot of times those get, burnt out fairly quickly. I think this thing is amazing. My only thing I think could improve is if this apex they have in this DeWalt set was the same apex from the Milwaukee. I do love the fact it has this little, I don't know, for lack of a better term, this little foreskin right here. I think this is amazing. So if you just take this apex and put this in the DeWalt bit holder, I think you have the ultimate combination. So like I said, I recommend getting a bit holder like this because it's compact and it's going to have multiple. So if you lose one or someone borrows some, you are not going to be, out in the cold, not being effective. You don't have to go chase somebody down asking for your stuff back. You can do that during break time or during lunch. And so again, you want to make yourself like as self-reliant as you possibly can without, running across the job site trying to find things. So if you have multiple on you, I think that's really important. And again, these are like 10-20 bucks. I would buy these in bulk, maybe buy 3 or 4, so then if you lose them, it doesn't matter. They're just bits. And so I think these are great because you all know what it feels like when you need a T25 and you only have a T20 and you're just trying to screw something and it's just not hitting the way it's supposed to, or it's not sinking the way it's supposed to. So again, having this is a godsend. I have never seen this tool on any job site until I bought it, and I think this thing is a game changer. This is the Klein Socket, and it has 6 different sockets, and they all are housed on one stick right here, and it's all magnetic. It has a quarter, a 5/16, a 3/8, a 7/16, a half, and a 9/16, all on one housing. And also, you can take, say you need a 5/16, you just flip it over, put it on the the stick, boom. Or say you need a 9/16, you just take that off, boom, take the 9/16, put it to the top, boom, it locks it in, put that to the bottom. So then you're never worried about, you know, not having everything. I think when you have everything on one piece, it makes it less likely for you to lose something. So if someone's to borrow, hey, can I use your 3/8? You might give it to them, forget about it. But if you have all of your sockets on one stick, you're not going to forget about it. And it's also going to make you remember, okay, listen, that guy borrowed it. I need this back because this is super dope. This thing's less than $20. And what's nice about this is these are locked in. These other sockets in the bottom, these cannot go above. So you're not going to worry about like pushing too hard and everything is coming off. That can't happen. These are all locked in, and this can only go down so far too, right? So this is locked in. This can't be pushed down any further. So these are nice. The only one thing that I can say that I can critique these with is sometimes when you are using them, and because you can't secure it, you know, permanently, sometimes they do get stuck on whatever fastener you're using, whether it be like a bolt or something. But overall, I think these are dope. And anybody who's seen me use one of these on a job site, they're like, hey, where did you get that? And I got these at Lowe's. These are Klein's. These are amazing. I think these are a must-have for every carpenter in their bag. So like I said before, all those tools are less than 20 bucks. They're going to make you more productive and more efficient. So I think that you should have these in your bags, no question. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. If you guys want to talk more about carpentry, if you want to learn about how to get in the union or the apprenticeship, please join the Discord channel. We'd love to have you. I'm trying to build a community. Everybody's talking about how they're lonely, how they have no friends, don't want to talk to. So I'm trying to build something that's not entirely dependent on me, more like just like everybody coming together, just sharing information, passing it down, because again, we have a disconnect between people who have the knowledge and those who want it, and you know, having those avenues to expand, you know, friendships and just bonds, I think is important. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Peace.